My colleagues here at the LDOE have pasted that into the chat for you to have access to. We will continue to do so as people enter. Welcome to today's webinar, everyone. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday. We will give it about 2 more minutes before we begin. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Want to give you as much information as we possibly can this afternoon. But thank you everyone who has joined us today for our external presenter webinar. And we are looking forward to working alongside each and every one of you with your submissions for Teacher Leader Summit. The slide deck is going to continue to be posted in the chat. And my name is Mia Mathern, and I serve as Executive Director of Teaching and Learning here at the LDOE. And I do have quite a few of my counterparts here at the LDOE who are also involved in the planning and delivery of Summit, and I could not do any of this without everyone who is on this call. But we are so grateful for the hundreds of educators and organizations who share their knowledge, skill, and expertise by designing and leading sessions each and every year at Teacher Leader Summit. I believe this is year 14. It could be 13, maybe it's 14, but it's around that many years of Teacher Leader Summit. So the LDOE definitely thanks you for your partnership moving forward. So here is our agenda. First, we're going to talk a little bit about just general information about Summit. We're going to run through that Summit schedule with you. We're going to talk through the essential professional structures, the qualities of a successful presenter application. We're going to talk about that call for proposals, the slide deck presentation itself and the expectations there. The session materials, we're going to go through a quick timeline at the end. And of course, we will have Q&A if any of you do have questions at the end of the presentation. But you may add questions to the chat at any point. And as we near the end of the webinar, you can also use the hand icon to come off mute to ask questions verbally. That is completely fine also. And my fantastic coworkers who are on this call are going to help me man that chat, just making sure that we're not, not answering anyone's questions and getting all those questions answered. All right, so the 2025 Teacher Leader Summit is an annual professional learning conference that brings together Louisiana's birth to grade 12 educators and content experts. Educators participating in the event will share their knowledge, learn new skills, and prepare for the 25-26 school year. Our theme this year for the summit is a new story for Louisiana education. Be mindful that our dates have shifted just a bit this year due to availability at the Morial Convention Center. We usually have Summit. Usually it's like that week after all teachers get out of school, however, which is the week of Memorial Day. However, due to scheduling conflicts with the convention center, we did have to push it back into June this year. So this year, our summit will be June 10th through the 12th. And again, that location is the Morial Convention Center. So here you will see this schedule for day 1. And we did extend the time of each of our sessions, and we're going to talk through that in a little bit, just giving the presenter more time to plan for engagement between participants. We will have our registration and help desk open all day long, as we usually have. We will still have our education expo. And then our opening session on day 1, that's that big general session, will begin at 9 o'clock with the first breakout session starting at 10:15. And of course, lunch will be served. And then you can see the other breakout sessions that afternoon. We can go ahead and go to day 2. So here is day 2, same with the registration and help desk, same with the education expo. And then we have our breakout sessions and lunch listed here. And then we have day 3. Obviously, the registration and help desk closes a little earlier because we wrap up at about noon on the last day. And we did have to cut one breakout session just to allow for an extension of the time that we are seeing for each of the sessions, again, to allow that engagement between participants. So the essential professional structures. So it's really important that presentations on instructional leadership, ILT, teacher collaboration, and career pipelines are the focus of what we're presenting at Teacher Leader Summit, and those will be prioritized during session selection. The Teacher Leader Summit 2025 Presenter Submission Guide provides detailed instructions for individuals submitting proposals for sessions at Teacher Leader Summit. And of course, you will have access, as you do in the chat, to this deck. So any of the links that you see on any of the slides, you will have access to. And next, we'll talk a little bit about the qualities of a successful presenter application. So in thinking through what should your session include? So it should include a deck that follows that Teacher Leader Summit 2025 session template. This template that you see linked here is forcing a copy. So you can go ahead and click that link and you can start editing that template. It should include written objectives or objectives that are written with measurable verbs to reinforce participant action in the session. It should engage participants. The content should promote active learning and not slides that support sit and gets. It should utilize the entire hour and 10 minutes. It should align to our Louisiana education priorities, which we'll go over in a little bit. It's on one of the next slides. Best practices and research. It should incorporate time to reflect on learning and make connections to their role. It should be relevant to the selected audience. It should include opportunities for collaboration. It should give participants clear, actionable steps to implement. And it should follow the HQPL cycle, or the high quality professional learning cycle. So on the next slide, you'll see our Louisiana education priorities. And these priorities, or maybe a priority, should align to your session objectives and include early childhood leading to kindergarten readiness, literacy instruction aligned to the science of reading, math instruction from foundational to advanced skills, opportunities ensuring a meaningful high school experience, an effective teacher for every student, and expanding educational choice for students and families. And on the next slide, you will see our HQPL cycle. And if you open up that Teacher Leader Summit, the deck template, you will notice that our slides that are inclusive of the HQPL cycle are actually like focused throughout the deck itself. And so you'll have a slide that has defined the purpose, a slide that has received new learning, and so on and so forth. But this is the reason why we did extend the session time just a little bit, because this type of learning does take just a little bit longer. You have to think as you're planning your sessions, what's the purpose of this session? What are my objectives? What do I want individuals to leave this session with? What new learning do I expect my participants to receive? How will I allow them to internalize and practice that new learning during the session? How can I give them examples or have them brainstorm examples about implementing that learning? And then how can you, before you have participants leave that session, plan to have participants think through and reflect upon how they could assess the impact of the new learning that they received. So this is our HQPL cycle. And again, it will be the focus of the slide deck that you receive in the template form. All right, so the call for proposals Google form, submissions to the Teacher Leader Summit 2025 proposal application must include all presenter or presenters information, proposed session title, the session description. So you will have to answer how will your session be actionable and hands-on. You're going to go ahead and list that target audience and grade levels, as well as like content areas, session objectives, alignment to Louisiana's education priorities, alignment to the LDOE's HQPL cycle, Session alignment. So we have, various divisions here at the LDOE. Which of these, like academic content, diverse learners, or CCR, does your session align to? The format of the session. So is it a panel or is it a classroom format? You, of course, have to link your slide deck there. Materials or handouts for the session. We would like to know your day preference as well, and then rotation availability and room size preference. So if historically you've delivered information that really draws a crowd, we want to know that so that we can help to plan to give you a room or a space that can be accommodating to that. All right, so the slide deck presentation. Applicants must submit a completed slide deck presentation utilizing the provided Teacher Leader Summit 2025 template. While accepted presentations may require some overall small revisions, please provide a clean presentation for the initial review. I always say the more the better here. We can't really score or use our criteria to determine if you will move forward with your session if it's kind of bare. So just be sure to answer all questions and have all information within the deck itself. Here is our required branding, so you can definitely come back and reference this. If media is part of the presentation, please provide and ensure that all links are working. I can speak from experience when reviewing Teacher Leader Summit sessions. More often than not, links do not work when people embed them into presentations for one reason or another. So just be sure that your links are working. Be sure to include your facilitator notes. This helps to better understand the presentation as a whole. Sessions are now 1 hour and 10 minutes to encourage more time for engagement. And please be sure to note if the deck is proprietary and cannot be shared with attendees after Summit, because otherwise they will be placed on our professional learning platform after Summit is over. Note that the application window is open until January 31st, 2025. So our session materials, required slides for the session. So you're going to have your Teacher Leader Summit 2025 cover slide with session title. You're going to have your presenter or presenters information. You're going to have your LDOE education priorities. And if you open up the template, of course, you'll see all of this. The objective slide, the HQPL cycle, the session content, and then, of course, contact information and closing. And here is a timeline, just to give you guys a little heads up on some of the things that are going to be coming up here shortly. And time is just going so quickly. December 9th, which is today, the call for proposals Google form will open. On January 31st, 2025, those proposals will close. So just be sure that you're using the time between now and then to get your proposals in. March 31st through the 21st is the review period internally. By March 21st, presenters are notified of acceptance for their sessions. Between March 24th and April 4th, collaboration and revisions may be taking place. There may be some instances where revisions are not necessary, but in the event they are, that is a time period for that. And then April 4th, revisions are complete and the deck must be finalized. And then on May 6th and May 8th, we will have mandatory presenter webinars for the individuals whose sessions were accepted. So you only have to attend one of those, but we will be sending out correspondence about that at a later time. And finally,
Christina, how are you?
We do have if anyone has questions, we do have an inbox, LDOE events at la.gov, but we are in a transition right now with that inbox. And if you, for whatever reason, are not getting a response with that inbox, you can go ahead and email. I'm happy to answer any questions. It's just mia.mathern@la.gov if you do have any questions moving forward. Do we have any questions in the chat?
I do not see any, Dr. Mathern.
Awesome. Do we have anyone who would like to come off of mute and ask any questions? Happy to answer them. Well, thank you. I guess I did a great job because you don't have any questions. I'm joking. No, so I mean, you do have all of these resources and references here. You have all of these links available. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. We are happy to help. I'm happy to answer any questions via email. And if there are no further questions, we will go ahead and let you go. But we very much appreciate you attending today and being a partner with the LDOE. The slide deck is linked in the chat. Can we go ahead and link that again in case people came in after it was linked, please?
Yes, I just dropped it in again.
Perfect. All right, so everyone should have access to the deck at this point. Thank y'all. Y'all have a fantastic day. All right, I think I'm removing everybody. I accidentally reported somebody.
That's all
Did
right.
y'all see my text message? We're
I just,
recording.
Oh,
no, I stopped the recording.
no, it says recording.
It says recording.
Oh, no. Well, now